Hello, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to one of our play-in round matches in the Red Moon between LUF and PlumeriaKnight. I'm joined here by Alchemy. Alchemy, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's night over here, and I'm so ready to see these two tournament veterans duke it out in this waxing Red Moon Team Zone 5 playing. This is gonna be a great one. Like with these bosses to hunt, oh boy.
Yeah, what I love about. Honestly, both moons are so great. Red Moon is so interesting because you get these three different character starts, which I wanted to talk about, who we were going to start with, but LUF and PlumeriaKnight both sitting on their custom/names menu side.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Did they coordinate pre-race? Like, we're not gonna
Yes,
let
they actually
know?
did. I did pick the race room. I think I know who it is from like checking the race room, but like they did coordinate to be like, hey, let's not show it. So
we'll learn live. It's likely either Cecil or Edge, equal chances, or there is like a 8-ish%, 9-ish% chance it could be Fusoya. But yeah, either way, it's gonna be fun.
Indeed. Which one of the three starting characters is your favorite, Solaris? I kind of like Edge because he has like this early game power and the utility, but he doesn't like trivialize it like Fusoya does.
I kind of agree that Edge is maybe the most fun to start with, just because you have early power and you can take a vanilla geared Edge, because on the Red Moon flags, characters have their vanilla gear, which means most characters have very bad gear, but Edge and Fusoya start with their mid or late game gear loadout, and Edge is pretty well kitted. So it's fun to kind of just take him and one other character. You could go start doing checks immediately. You could choose to pick up characters if you want. I just feel like there's more choice with Edge, and that makes a lot of fun. Cecil's a little more tricky. PlumeriaKnight. Bop over just a moment. It's an Edge start.
Go figure.
Good thing we're talking about that.
Well, this will be exciting because even if like the cool thing about Edge early game is that even if you get like a multi-target boss that's standing in your way, you can just like use flame. Like if it's something that does counters, you just flame. And otherwise, you just whack him. He's really useful early game.
Yeah, he can kind of do it all. Also, paying attention to these bosses, you want to really keep in mind what bosses you're going to be hunting. I see the Ashura and the CPU and Odin all stand out particularly to me, because with an Edge, you want to look for weaponry like a Thunderclaw, a Mute Dagger, or some way to deal back row damage, because those orbs, the CPU is in the back row, and back row glitches off. But for the meanwhile, we're going to start.
Nice. A Rosa is always welcome. Spoon! Well, that's something to throw out CPU if I ever saw it.
That is a great dart for CPU. It is also technically an Ed weapon. Edward can wear the spoon in this flag set. It's a little tricky. The back row glitch is off, and Edward is made of paper. But yeah,
honestly,
interesting start
like
here.
With the CPU hunt, I saw that spoon, and my mind did not even consider Edward. I was yes, spoon, CPU, yes.
Yes, that is a dart for CPU. CPU with the back row glitch off is one of the most annoying fights in Free Enterprise. Not because you're going to wipe to it, but because it takes absolutely forever. But yeah, at the start here, it looks like, both runners interested in picking up characters first. Like I said at the start, you could really kind of go many different ways with your start here, but we're both in Ordeals. We pick us Mysidia picking up Rydia and Tella.
Tella is nice because he enables grind, so he's a real good utility mage. But like, the thing I am worried about is that we are seeing a lot of mages, and that is about valleys we have to hunt, and that could be real dangerous. I mean, would you have an Edge, you can like circ him, and it's fine in quotations, but still, you kind of want some more muscle power if you want to hunt on valleys, and you don't know where it is.
It's very true. Though
Oh boy,
there's
another
another
one.
mage. We've got a Porum and Watery Pass, and LUF is about to tell us who the Damsian character is. So that spoon is useful for Val too, because you can dart the spoon against her as well. Oh, and a Palom. Okay, all right. The seed,
Oh boy,
the
oh
seed has
boy.
really specific ideas. This is the interesting danger of choosing different starting routes, by the way. If you don't know that tell is in the seed immediately, you don't know to start thinking about certain things. So we've got all mages, basically all mages, except that Ordeals character we don't know yet, and we have a Tella. That means if we find a darkness crystal rather soon, sooner than later, where do you think we're going to end up going, Alchemy?
I think Plumeria is gonna be, yeah, he might be started to check bosses after, like with an edge. I will immediately check the waterfall and the mist cave bosses, because usually if I had another character with less power, I will wait. But with edge, you can just slap them twice and they're done. So I'm right here next to the waterfall boss, and I will give it a shot personally.
Yeah, LUF finding Plague at the Hobbs spot. Hobbs, by the way, very easy to forget about, because Hobbs, with that character check, you're not incentivized to go there for a character, but it is very easy to forget about that spot. So good on LUF for going there, seeing that there's a sparkle, so has to see, could have been a Wyvern, finds Plague instead, says, nah, I don't need that experience, I'll just kind of move on.
The thing with starting with edge is that aside from the hook route, you don't need EXP for defeating the rest of the bosses in the overworld. But again, there is that hook like looming over our racer's head like a gosh darn like sword of Damocles. So you do need EXP, but how much EXP do you need? You know, like that's something that really experienced racers can like leverage.
It's really difficult to answer.
Correct, yes.
Find, because there are a couple ways that this seed can go, and depending where it goes determines what you really wanted to do early game. So what I was trying to allude to earlier is that with Atella and mages in the seed, even though we started with an edge, if darkness shows up on the overworld, runners, these two have a lot of incentive to go to the giant and take a D-Machine grind right away. You have Slingshot available on this flag set, which means the character that's, I think, 5 levels or more underneath everybody else, up to 2 of those party members, will get double experience from one encounter. So a Slingshot D-Machine grind is very, very, very powerful for mages that want Nuke and White. But in order to get that, that means you need to manage your party's levels. So it goes back to what you asked about, you know, with or what you said about Edge not needing really party members up with it for experience. However, if darkness doesn't show up early and there's a very rude hook boss, you kind of need levels on those mages.
Yeah, absolutely. That this seed can go 2 ways. One is darkness shows earlier, you do a D-Machine, you're good, and darkness does not show up earlier, and you have to do the hook route. You need experience. Maybe there's something nasty at the King Queen Eblin spot, maybe not. It's, you know, it could be rough, and but you know, maybe you get lucky and really gets Leviathan, which is like tier 5. There's so many variables.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, we've got a little divergence. LUF is looting Eblin Castle, finding really all the traps on the right side, it seems. Meanwhile, PlumeriaKnight has found Ashura, who is one of our bosses. This is an early boss found in Atline's Nest. We saw Plumeria pause and not attack Ashura right away. What he wanted to do there was get what we call the life lock, where if she's on her gray phase, she counters by casting the life 1 spell instead of healing herself. You can kind of get her stuck there repeating that. Though I think he realized he had a shuriken in his inventory and was like, oh, I'm just going to dart that and, you know, kind of one-shot her.
In the last patch of Free Enterprise, version 4.5, shurikens got like a little cheaper, and Drain Swords got a little more expensive. So lately we have been seeing more shurikens usage, and honestly, they're real good. They're like at a base edge, like almost like 1,000 damage or a little more a pop. So it's real useful to get rid of pesky like bosses early on.
Yeah, early game, I mean, they're perfect. Like 1,000 is as much hit points as the Outline spot has, so it's a one-shot. Looks like Eblin paid out pretty well for LUF. I see double full moon for that edge. Really nice loadout there.
Ooh.
Full moons are strong weapons. And we
Do
see
you
Sid
think-
as our last and final character on Ordeals. Plumeria says, nah, I'm
boy.
good.
Yeah, at this point you're committing to like full-on reflect like party strats, like a sit along. Like he could be like a great anchor slash chemist for like the late game, but no guys, like we going full mage right here.
King and Queen Eblin taking a little vacation up on Ordeals here. So this speaks to changes in routing, by the way, right? Like, because you have edge and you have this power, Plumeria feels comfortable going to Ordeals right away.
Yeah, and like Ordeals are 3 bosses, so even without a Cecil on your party, it's a great way to check. Plus, you know, it's again might be the Darkness Crystal you're wanting. Who knows?
Yeah, pretty unfortunate finding King Queen Eblin here, though. This free fight you kind of want to find
Yeah,
literally anywhere else. This,
like on the moon
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, this Milan spot is one of the, as far as like stats go, it's one of the worst in the game. So the fights here tend to be pretty easy. Unlike the back attack spot, which can be a little tricky.
Yeah, I saw that the online spot gave an element. Sorry, do you tend to like forge in either of these two tournament flag sets?
I do. I also like finding a Demist early. This is something at the back attack spot here. Don't have to think about.
Okay, bye. Everyone.
Plumeria says, no, I want nothing to do with this. Take my spoon, get out of my screen.
Goodbye.
So that's not going to be available for CPU. That might get a little spooky later. We'll see. But absolutely deletes Demist at the back attack spot. Demist is very annoying to fight, and it has a key item attached, so it's pretty nice to find early.
We are on that quest for the Darkness Crystal because, oh boy, that hook rat is looking mighty scary.
Yeah, and what is our key item? That's the hook.
I mean, it was gonna show up sooner rather than later, so makes sense. And Keinatsu, so it's like a nice exchange. Like Keinatsu can be a really bad, dangerous boss at some spots. So, but it's here. And King Queen Eblin can be a really easy spot, but it was there. So you know, it balances the seat out, I'd say.
Yeah, Keinatsu in the mirror room, pretty, yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's sad to see King Queen Eblin on Ordeals, but finding this Keinatsu here is kind of a sigh of relief. Interesting, by the way, I want to point out, LUF here has decided to forego that Tella, took the Rydia instead. LUF has a lot of different incentive here because he ran to Castle Eblin and picked up those full moons. So he's got extra early power, and he has that Leviathan orb for Rydia, which Leviathan is a pretty powerful summon.
Yup, Leviathan is stronger than Quake and a little slower, but early on, like, she can learn it as soon as she can cast it with like 50 MP or some sort.
Yep.
So it's gonna also blow away any trap chest. So if you're wanting for experience for the hook route, you can just find trap chests that like, I think even like Mad Ogres are kind of like damaged by that, despite their high magic defense, right?
I'm sorry, one more time about the Mad Ogres?
Like if you cast Leviathan on the Mad Ogres, they still get damaged, right?
Oh, yes. Leviathan's strong enough to pierce through their defense.
Yeah,
yes.
gotcha. So
yeah.
If you're wanting for experience, the Leviathan is gonna get you there with those trap chests.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one tricky thing for LUF here is that the Red Moon flags do not have tents in the starting kit, which is surprisingly annoying. So LUF not really able to give Rydia the MP that she needed for Leviathan, unless he wants to use up one of his elixirs. And he doesn't want to give up his spoon here, which I don't blame him for, so his Demist fight is going to be quite a bit slower.
I mean, but the thing is that you are keeping the dart for another boss that might, save you more time than using
CPU.
a Demist.
Yeah,
For
it's
example,
CPU.
the CPU.
Yeah, it's 100% CPU. Yeah, for sure. Now to answer a question in chat about kind of where to go kind of after this. Alchemy, do you like running to Baron Inn? Fabul, do you like running straight, down the hook route? What's your thinking here?
I am a person that likes levels. I am a person that when I play this video game, I like safety. So
Yep.
I will be taking the entire like with a party of squishy mages. I will be taking all of the overworld bosses, and depending of my HP levels, like Rosa's HP tends to be fine, but like depending on how the situation is, like maybe a few trap chests, get some nice defensive gear or something, because King Queen Eblin can be nice or it can be extremely rude.
Yes, absolutely. By the way, speaking, I think we've summoned the CPU. The seed really rewarding Plumeria for getting rid of that spoon early, because CPU at this spot, I believe this is Baron Inn 2. I mean, yeah, it's annoying, but it's nothing near its like, multiple tens of thousands of hit points it would have on the moon. So pretty, Plumeria's got to be pretty happy right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that close 99 is coming and it's real dangerous. I see Plumeria sneaking in a level 2 spell reflected on Rosa. We'll see if that kills.
Yeah, this is actually really clever. So this spot is notoriously slow with a fast anchored edge that you really can take the time, especially with the Zerker going, to really smart to reflect these spells and take care of the like 3,000-ish hit points that big orb has at this spot. So yeah, very well done by Plumeria there. Gets rewarded with the twin harp. I'm gonna put reward in air quotes for his trouble.
Oh boy!
But also the boss.
I mean, like I said, I will personally do that before going down the hook route. I mean, what the other option is diving the hook route, taking a peek if it's like an easy boss or something, and then being like, okay, fine, or okay, that's not fine. I need more levels. But that also wastes time. So you really need to make like an executive decision of like, okay, do I feel comfortable giving it a shot with like some blinks, casters, some like level 2 spells and edge swinging, or do I want more levels?
Yeah, well, I think your instinct earlier was right about wanting to just get experience and whatnot. And there are some seeds in some ways where you could take advantage from kind of skipping stuff and going straight down the hook route. But I think our runners have incredible incentive to do literally everything, including that twin harp. And that's for one specific reason. It's that darkness crystal. Woe behold the person that fades the darkness crystal early on this seed and gives up a really juicy D-Machine grind. I think that's really going to be on these runners' minds. And for that reason, we're going to see, might not, but I'm going to predict we see a full overworld clear for both of them.
Well, a pass is nice.
Always happy to have a pass.
Yeah, the best part is that you didn't spend any time getting that pass. Like sometimes the time you will save using the pass you already spent getting the pass, but not in this case. In this case was a really fast pass. So, but in this case, both players also will obtain the pass most likely, unless LUF forgets about like exchanging like Miss Dragon. So it's not gonna be an advantage for either racer.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing pass from Demist at pass really kind of at the mid game. Once you get that darkness crystal and are ready to go to the moon, you get to this awkward stage where you want to find bosses on the moon, but it doesn't finish the game for you. Having that pass in hand means you can go to the moon free of mind, find your bosses, and then still come back to Earth to clean up some stuff and not have to walk the LST twice. Now, Plumeria has chosen to go down the hook route. Might just be shopping. Looking for items, might want to go to Castle Eblin, might say, you know what, I can get down the hook route, I'm really powerful right now. We'll kind of see where his mind is going here, but I think there's a couple ways he can go. And yeah, we're going to do shopping first. Not very good in the armor shop.
Karate is nice for Edge, but Edge already comes with a pretty
black belt,
yeah, black belt, so it's an upgrade already. I like Plumeria bought those Bacchuses, and it might just be for like, if you get Edge going, like circling, you end up buffering turns for your mages so they can do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Plumeria hasn't really picked up a whole lot of loot. Might really just be interested in looting out at least some of Cave Eblin, and might be thinking I'm just gonna go down the hook route. I've got Edge, he's pretty strong. He actually just found a mute dagger on his way up. Sees that this is a sparkle.
Ooh.
Now it cannot be Wyvern. It cannot be Wyvern. Wyvern cannot get your access underground, and Force Hook is on. You have to get underground through the hook route. So this is one of a number of other probably.
It can't be Plague because we saw Plague already.
Bosses. Yep.
So it can be. It can be Ogopogo, D-Lunars, or Pale Dim, I believe.
Yeah,
Pale
those would all
Dim-
suck.
Pale Dim will be the safest. Pale Dim will be the safest, but also the slowest.
It would be the slowest for sure. Ogopogo would be.
Ogopogo will be a
pretty
doozy for sure.
annoying.
Because if you cast spells on Ogopogo, he counters with like a Blaze, right?
Yes, he does. He counters with Blaze, which is 25% hit point damage on everyone. I believe it's 25%. And we don't have a lot of levels. Rosa has Cure 2, which is okay. Tella's got the good healing spells, but I mean, he's also Tella. He's rather slow. Can die easily to a punch, and we've got to anchor with him because we really want to be slow anchored here.
So I will say that the option our racers want to see is D-Lunars, if only because they could try doing the Lunar Frog strategy with those Tarvels they start with.
Yeah, do you want to explain how that strat goes?
So the thing is that the Lunar Dragons do this attack called Breath, which is like bad breath in other later games. And what it does is inflict like every single status effect in your party at once. But if you can reflect that, something happens that it bypasses the boss beat, so it can be. So they get inflicted with every single status effect, but because status effects work with a priority system, they just get turned into frogs. They can't do anything. They can't cast spells. They can't attack.
Yep.
So you completely disable the boss. But only one of them could be turned into frogs. Both of them, it can be a little it can go sideways in a number of ways. So it's a little tricky.
Bonus side of that, the frogs are really cute.
They are. What is also cute, in a weird way, is King Queen Eblin is free, which is a real nice thing to see because this spot has an absurdly high attack power. It just was unlying or something like that. Oh boy,
yeah.
Odin, oh wow, that would have been a doozy.
Some gross bosses could have been here. Yeah, PlumeriaKnight finding the Kaipo soldiers at the King Queen spot, able to take care of that, cleaned up pretty quickly. Has that Ogopogo looming, and we've got some folks in chats talking about this fight. If it's Ogopogo, like, yeah, we've got a number of white mages, we can heal up. Our white mages don't know blink yet, and Tella does. Tella can start blinking people up, but I mean, we're just sort of at a deficit of levels here. Plumeria has not full cleared. Well, Plumeria didn't do Twin Harp. Did Antlion. I don't think we saw him go to full defense though.
No.
Yeah, that's some experience lost there.
Yeah, Plumeria might want to single dip or like double dip Fabul at this point because you are guaranteed to get the hook pretty early. So a lot of people opt to fate Fabul, and well, there's Pale Dim, the safest but slowest.
Yep. So this this is going to be a lot of
it punches really, really hard still.
It
because
does
this
punch hard.
This spot has some decent attack power.
Yeah, that hurts. So yeah, imagine that was Ogopogo that was casting wave on top of it. It's not pretty.
Yeah.
Plumeria needing to take a moment. Good thing he saved before taking on that fight. Really needs to evaluate and see what he needs to do. He might be thinking about if he wants to get any levels or if he just needs to slow the fight down. I think that's a great idea. Because you really just want to get set up against Pale Dim once some of the blinks are out, the slows are out. It should be a lot more palatable. It's just going to be very, very, very slow.
Yeah, especially without the blinks. Like, personally, like, I'm a fan of having levels and safety, but like going down the hook route, the least, like at the very minimum, I want to blink on my white mages if I can. And it will help. Talking about the blink, it will help if Stella didn't get like smacked down the first thing in the combat, because Stella, believe it or not, has blink by default as a base, and he's very useful with that.
Yeah, so now LUF, I see here, has a pink tail. This might be really big. Or hear me out.
Okay, yeah, hear me out. Like funny has memes and all that, but crystal swords sell for a lot of money. And talking out of Forge earlier, Coco's shop with those tier 6 items can be real nice. Has the good equipment. Those Stardust rods, those life rods, Artemis bow for like agility manipulation. It's like it has a lot of good stuff, like power share or whatever. So it's or sirens, if you find sirens on the ground and you want those, it's it's useful.
It's honestly, it's a big pile of money. It's also, if you really wanted to meme, I like to talk about, but you can buy a carrot and give it to a chocobo and just store it for safekeeping, or just look at the crystal sword and just be like, is this a carrot? I don't know. But selling it's certainly the more functional thing to do, and it'll be good for LUF because LUF is taking the extra time to shop, able to find both cabins, and a starting seed without camping gear, and the life potions.
Oh my goodness, you don't know like how bad it is. Like you don't have cabins, and you don't notice you don't have cabins until you go ahead and you start your inventory for cabins and you don't have them. It's like, where are my cabins?
Sometimes.
Where are my cabins? But you never got the cabins in the first place. You just get so used to having cabins in your inventory. So it's taking your time to get those cabins can save you a lot of headaches down the line.
Yeah. So going over to PlumeriaKnight for a second here, setting up in a way that makes a lot of sense is kind of what I was thinking the fight would go. We see all the blinks are up now, and once the blinks are up, the tempo of the fight becomes pretty safe. You just need to keep up with those blinks, and now party members can attack, cast virus. So the fight from here on out should be rather safe. You still have to be very diligent about who you're blinking up so that you don't lose the tempo of the fight, where you start losing party members and then suddenly it's hard to keep up. But I think PlumeriaKnight's going to be okay from here.
Like, oh my goodness, Paladin, like even while being slowed, Paladin punches rather fast, but as long as you keep up with the blinks and have Edge attacking for like 700 to 1000 a pop, it's going pretty okay for the most part.
Yeah. I think it's going to be just fine for him. Meanwhile, LUF, saw him drop down. He's been doing some shopping. Saw him drop down at Troya. Thought maybe he was going to head over and do that Twin Heart, but looked like he was just interested in the shops. Might be looking for additional safety. Might be looking for a cursed ring.
Yeah, cursed ring
heading
has
into Castle Eblin now.
Yeah,
cursed ring would be very, very useful, especially for his party, because he's chosen to essentially not have an anchor by letting go of Tella. Though like Tella very, very early at this point of the game, early game, it's not like your RE1 everybody anyways as an anchor. But yep, looks at the shop. There goes the crystal sword.
I mean,
tons of money.
It's just taking an inventory slot.
Wait,
so why not?
Did you just sell the spoon? Did I see that?
Oh, is that why he reset?
Oh no. I was like, wow, that's daring.
It doesn't even sell for that much, does it?
No, it's like 5,000, which probably is good, so that you're not incentivized to be like, oh, I could turn this into a lot of money instead. But yeah, glad that he saw that and said, no, I need that spoon. I'll come back.
Yeah, you get here real fast anyway, so it's fine. Barely a mistake.
By the way, yeah, chat pointing out, you know what is a great target for the spoon for LUF?
Paladin, huh?
Is Paladin, yeah.
That would be, yeah, pretty good. Like, it will be I don't know if it will end the fight, but we're pretty close to it, yeah.
It won't end the fight. This spot has 25,000 hit points. The spoon at this point in the game might do like 7 to 8k, but that's still like Plumeria is swinging like 700 a swing. That's a ton of damage. Plus LUF is going to have those double full moons and a little bit more experience. I don't think his mages are going to know any extra relevant spells for this, but even just the double full moon will at least be a little bit more damage for him.
Oh, the fight continues to be pretty stable on PlumeriaKnight's side with all the counters from Peldim. Oh, is that Twin Magic? Oh, Twin Magic for 2k. That's pretty good.
Twin Magic is very smart. You know, you get to, with twins, we actually don't talk about this very often, like twin strats.
Hold up, isn't Flare or like Pyroblast fire elemental, or am I like pulling that?
No, Twin Cast it's mini Flare basically.
Oh,
so it's it's non-elemental. Yeah. The kids basically learn mini Mega Nuke and like mini Meteo. You can look at Kana as like a really little Meteo.
Like for some reason I thought it was like fire elemental.
Yeah, no, it's not elemental, and smart to cast against Peldim because Peldim does not react to non-elemental damage.
Peldim absorbs all elemental damage,
yes,
which is pretty tricky with a party of mages. But using Twin Cast really greatly, PlumeriaKnight has bypassed the Peldim a pitfall.
By being able to bluff
on the
Mad Ogres. Doll's a top of tower, not a required boss. Likely not going to see that anytime soon. Depends where the seed goes, though.
I mean, if a tower key falls on your lap, and you still haven't found a darkness crystal or something, or you need like salt for those two bosses, well, one boss, like or like you need like those tanky items. It's a pretty decent play, going up top of tower. We're doing towerless key in this flag set. It's a little bit of a gamble.
Yeah, so the one nice thing about the dolls being at the top of tower is that spot has a lot of health, but the dolls are still split up pretty well in a way that you could Leviathan and Quake and kind of take care of that fight really quickly. So that might play on runners' minds if top of tower ends up being more of a thing. But in the meanwhile, Plumeria has dropped down in front of Dwarf Castle and says, yeah, I'm just going to start doing more chucks that have bosses in them.
Dwarf Castle 1 can be a bit tricky. It has some pretty decent...
Just a Gungnir for LUF. That's a decent dart, but...
Yeah, it's a pretty good dart. You know that? You know what? Dart that spoon? Dart that Gungnir.
And the Gungnir, yeah.
We're good.
I mean, it's not bad. LUF might also have that Shuriken still, because I think Plumeria donated that to the Outline boss quickly, but LUF might still have that as well. Might get through this Peldim fight a lot faster. Chat, thank you very much, chat, pointing out that the Peldim fight for Plumeria took about 8 minutes, which is, to be fair, a very long time, but still a great time for Plumeria to get down, considering how soon he went down there. So really lightning fast time for Plumeria.
To be clear, it's a long time because Peldim sucks.
Exactly, yeah. It's a long time because Peldim with poor equipment, with low levels. So yeah. LUF might be able to make up a little bit of time.
So we see that a Dark Knight Cecil at this spot, that's not pretty bad, but with these HP levels, I think it's like 200 to 300 per Dark Wave. With these levels and these HP values, might be a little dicey for the second spot. We'll see what it is.
So DKC here is honestly a little spooky. We don't have that Sid. The only person with a big pile of health is that Edge. I think Plumeria is still at a pretty slowish battle speed, waiting to cast a heal on Edge. But Porum dies here. It's what I was worried about. Got to get that heal out right away. Edge is fast enough that I think it's going to be okay. DKC doesn't act between those, so Cure 2 is able to go out. We'll do one more wave. Edge will throw a Cure 3 at himself. It's, I think, the only healing pot he has available, and then he will be fine. Needs to throw that Cure 3 now, though. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, but hopefully the boss next is something that Edge can tackle. Like the next spot is
He's
pretty
gonna
easy.
pick
Has
somebody up
low.
here. Yep, Rosa comes up afterwards.
That's a great call. Nice, good job.
And
Meanwhile, we
being
see-
fast anchored at battle speed 4 has time to pick up more party members. It's pretty great. How many can he keep up? Nope. DKC says, hold on. Justice is not the only right in this world. Rosa's like holding that life potion for your dear life. Like, no, let me let me revive my party
finish.
member. DKC's like, no. You don't understand. Justice is not the only right in this world.
Meanwhile, LUF has opted for the same strategy that the PlumeriaKnight did, which is put some blinks up, especially use an illusion on Edge and then a Bacchus, and just like goes to town. He has opted to wait with the darts for another time.
Yeah, no spoon, no Gungnir. This would be a very good place to throw those darts. It is nice to have them later, though, for other bosses that might be particularly tricky. Speaking of tricky, Plumeria has found the Dark Imps at the Golbez spot. This spot is normally not really that bad, just for health, and it's split up, but his party is a little kind of scuffed, and having 3 people that could punch right now has given him a little bit of pause to think about how he wants to handle this. Coffin went out, 1 Dark Imp went down, and very kindly the 2 Dark Imps decided Edge was the appropriate tank, didn't hit any of his other mages.
Even then, some punches on Edge goes down as well, and he's the primary damage dealer.
Orm going down, Dark Imp's still up, Palom going down. I believe we've still got a Coffin in the inventory. Edge is gonna go throw out another punch here. The spot has 2,500-ish hit points, I believe, so you split that into 3. You know, whatever that math is, don't do math on stream, but I think this Dark Imp's gonna take a couple of punches. I would throw that
maybe
Coffin out. He might not have
really
it.
wants that experience, perhaps.
He might very much want the experience. I mean, it's a little tricky because you can sirens are guaranteed in the seed. If they're not available in shops, you can steal them. Yep, okay, sees that last Coffin now, throws it out. Yeah, really wanted to prioritize the experience here. I mean, it's fair. There's 20,000, 25,000, something like that. Yeah, 20,000 experience. This team is kind of sorely in need of it, able to get Quake on Palom.
That's why he wanted that experience points. Ooh, it seems that LUF took a wipe or reset out of the fight.
Yeah, chat pointing out that he ran out of life potions, which I believe LUF is the one who found the extra life potions. Should have 20 available to him. Unfortunately, split attention here, was kind of focused on the other fight, missed what might have... Oh, were they in Eblin? And he didn't rebuy them? I thought those life potions were earlier. I don't know. I mean, if they're not in his inventory, then he doesn't have them.
I see.
Yeah, Liv has got to figure out, deciding smartly to say, okay, I wiped. I don't really want to go through that again. I'm going to take a moment with my mute dagger and try to find something I can kill, like these Mad Ogres.
Mad Ogres still punch really hard, but when you pin the numbers down to 1 Mad Ogre, they become pretty manageable.
Yeah, it's actually really spooky. Yeah, he's down to like 2 life potions now, and he's keen on taking this encounter out. Only has the 1 life caster out of Rosa compared to Plumeria's 3 with the Porum, the Rosa, and the Tella. So yeah, able to take out the Mad Ogres, but this might be an at what cost kind of question.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in the starter kit you still have some tents, so Rosa should be fine in the MP department. But still, it's a little.
He should have
tricky.
the cabins. He should have the cabins he bought. I know those were in a separate shop. That I remember. But we're positing that the extras were in Eblin, and he didn't rebuy them after resetting out of the spoon. So kind of in a tricky spot. I mean, this happens sometimes, right? When you're running, you're trying to go fast, you end up kind of caught in a situation that's uncomfortable for you, and the best way to react to it is to just try to get through it. You know, get through it the best way that you can, the best way that you know how. And for LUF, that is right now trying to take on some encounters for experience.
Like, there's something I always say that like safety is a real strat. Like, there is a
really
point.
Is.
There is a point where like banging your head against a wall is not the best thing to do.
Plumeria can get underground.
Okay.
Got a magma key.
Yeah,
Anyways,
there it is. Obligatory. Now Plumeria can go underground.
We did it. But yeah, safety is a thing. I mean, it kind of, as chat is pointing out here, it'd be pretty viable, I think, to just leave and go rebuy those life potions. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks to spend the extra time, but do you make that time up by doing it versus trying to take these encounters? I don't know. It's always a tricky call. It's always a tricky call, and you have to remember that these runners are trying to do it while trying to go as fast as possible, you know, basically immediately. The decisions aren't easy.
So, in Down in the Fey March, PlumeriaKnight found a long sword for Edge, Jay, but also found a Karate Man down at the Leviathan spot, not Jay. Ouch. Very bad.
Found what at the Leviathan spot?
Jang, Karate Man.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's thankfully not a boss we're hunting. That's pretty rude there. What was the Ashura spot?
It was some form of Mylon, so that's nice.
Okay, yeah. So neither of them required. Probably gonna fade them for now.
You could, if you really wanted to, you could take that Mylon for experience, probably.
If it's Mylon and not Mylon and friends, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I will personally check before leaving, but you know, that's a personal decision.
Yeah, LUF would be more incentivized with the full moons. Fun fact: Mylon Zed is floating. I promise. I know it's weird, but it's kind of hovering 1 pixel above the ground there. So the full moon is a good weapon against him. But I think PlumeriaKnight doesn't have any of the. I don't know that he has a Fire Claw, and I don't think he has a Boomerang, so doesn't really have the extra firepower against.
There was
Mylon.
A Boomerang. There was a full moon for sale right there in the.
Oh, and
March.
he bought. Okay, yes, that's something you can use to check. But you know, hunting bosses when they're not the boss that you need, yeah, it's reasonable to say, nah, let's do it later.
Sometimes you just do passes around the world and like check information. And in this game, information is power, and once you have all the information, you can make more pertinent like decisions. Wow, a vampire!
Vampire from Sylph. That's
That's one of the worst rewards I've seen from the underworld in T-Pro. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But yeah, PlumeriaKnight gonna take that pan, which I believe must have come from Dwarf Castle. Really just looking for a Darkness Crystal at this point. Plumeria gets the very wonderful single dip Fabul. Going to be able to do Fabul Defense, Sheila 1, and Sheila 2 all at the same time, so very rewarded for his routing choice.
Yep.
Don't forget Hobbs. Very smart to touch down here.
Yep, I believe Hobbs was Plague, I think, or something. So
yes,
it wasn't anything. But you know, nice to get that sparkle out of the way, so you know which one it is. So you know the next sparkle could be the thing you need.
Yeah, meanwhile, LUF taking more encounters here really needs the safety.
The confidence of PlumeriaKnight, like, holding A and Plague, like, yeah, I kill you now, bye, I'm resetting anyways. It's just kind of funny. LUF keeps getting levels and levels. It honestly, like, he's getting to the like EXP line. Like the closest, the more levels you get, the closest you get to the EXP you're meant to be here in vanilla. So like probably searching for like Blink or Quake, something to like
Yeah,
gain the upper edge.
yeah, I think he really needs Blink, unfortunately. Not having
Yeah,
that Tele to
absolutely.
be able to do it, and would really also like, might as well, you know, if you're getting Blink, you're also going to get Quake. Rudy
Yep.
already has the Leviathan, so just getting a lot, well, okay, Leviathan against Paladin, maybe not, but
Well,
getting
you know,
set up
I
so that you can
wish
take the fight quickly.
I
But yeah, Blink is the most
Tela
important thing because we don't have
Tela
life
learn
potions.
Tela learns float, right?
Actually, yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, yeah, Tela learns float, but Luf does not have Tela.
Yeah, just wondering.
Tela's such a good character. We say it like all the time nowadays. I feel, but like,
It's because it's because you know like some newbies get here or like and they start playing the game and they're like, oh wow, Tela sucks, Tela's so bad, I get rid of him. I'm like, no, we promise Tela's good. Just give the old man a chance. I promise you, he's fine.
well, yeah, not even like newbies. I mean, for I believe the first couple of years of our
Oh yeah,
randomizer's life, I think Tela's utility just sort of was untapped for a while there. Not very much a beloved character, but
I mean, to be fair, way back in the day, we thought Cecil was mediocre. So you know,
yeah,
we've grown a lot. So Sheila, I don't think she had the goods in that situation.
she had a tower key. Tower key is going to bring PlumeriaKnight to the tower, so that'll be quaking those dolls, and then the tower key could be a boss, and you know it's 2 shots of the darkness crystal as well. So it's pretty happy to see that actually, because if that wasn't progression, that means he would have to go do Twin Harp or Fey March or top of or Keyless Tower.
Yeah, but thanks to that, he no longer has to do Killer's Tower, which is, you know, always a nice thing, not having to make that, you know, like just like judgment call of like, oh, do I fate this or not? So that's like a tricky item. 2 bosses, we know one of them isn't required, but the other one could be, and it's some EXP, so there's that.
Yeah, chat having a great conversation about the early days of our randomizer. Some things have definitely changed since the early days. Loot was wild, largely T-wild, and shops were very different. Prices were very different. Items were in different item tiers. Cecil always had vanilla agility. Ordeals, you know, folks are pointing out was a pretty popular fade. Yeah, so I mean, the life was very different then. Though, I mean, the utility of Tala is still like, we're able to leverage it a lot better now. Probably because when we craft flag sets like this that are challenging you on your puzzle solving abilities, how do I get through a seed with limited resources? Tala is a great Swiss Army knife in a world of limited resources.
So Leviathan is not the boss we were looking for, and sadly, it's also like a pretty easy boss in most situations. That's also out of the pool now. But oh well, it's still a key item, so it could be Darkness Crystal we are being looking for. Meanwhile, LUF has begun fighting Paladin once again. That edge is dealing way more damage while the blinks are calling.
Blink is such a good spell. Like it can't be understated how powerful this spell is.
It's arguably one of the best spells in the game, if not the best spell in the game, depending on who you ask. It's that good.
Yeah, very much.
And again,
but yeah, with the extra levels, the multipliers, just from levels being able to deal more damage here, yeah, it's going to be a much easier fight for Luf.
Still opting to keep the darts just in case he finds something real nasty down the line, and even then, it could be like, even if you keep them all the way to Ceramos, it's like a real early boost, you know, before you switch to like, I don't know, reflex strats or something, you know.
Yeah, I personally love giving up darts earlier than later. I also love selling items earlier than later that can just give you value to get you to buy something that you could use right now as opposed to later. But I mean, it could be any number of things. It's easy to forget about some resources that you have, like darts, or yeah, that might be, you know, like an end game strategy in there. You know, it's always hard to say, but lots of stuff to think about and track while doing a race, of course.
Oh yeah, there's so much that like not only you have to be actively executing at the best you can while playing, but you also have to keep stuff in mind that you have done, that you are doing,
Yeah.
and that you will do at the same time. It's wild. These
Yes.
writers are like so good at this game, honestly.
It's a lot of information to retain in your brain and execute on and remember things, and not every situation comes up every seed that you play. So
That's a sand
it's just a
ruby.
lot. Yeah, it's a Sound Ruby. Plumeria's going to keep it. It's going to get him towards 10 key items. 10 key items is a double experience bonus, and we're getting very close to that.
That's
So
9
really
key
not
items,
mad
I
about
think.
it. Yeah.
That's 9 key items, not counting the
Yep.
pass. So this could be, once he takes a step outside of the tower, could be the 10th key item.
Yeah, so Darkness is guaranteed 10 key items, and the situation you love to be in, especially if Darkness showed up early. Let's say Darkness is behind the Twin Arp, so it was available early. The two viable
Maybe.
routes through this seed, for as far as experience acceleration is concerned, is either getting a slingshot on the Giant, or it's getting to 10 key items as quickly as possible, and then getting a very fast, efficient grind out of that. So getting 10 key items is really, really, really important for Plumeria here, and he's going to be able to get it, at least from his perspective.
It could still be behind the Twin Harp. It could still be right there, just waiting, just sitting there.
Could be here at the tower key. It could be behind that karate at the Leviathan spot.
Yep, it could be any number of places. It seems that LUF, he's finished. Great job on his part. And it is.
That's Darkness.
We got lucky. Lucky.
Sheila 1 had the goods, by the way. That pan, I think it was the pan that had the miss on it. Though pan, critical here to get Plumeria towards 10 key items. Takes a drop down immediately. Thinking about doing those sirens, maybe just wanted to know what the levels were like, because also might be thinking about if he has a slingshot available, a 10 key item, slingshotable D-Machine grind would go very, very, very quickly.
Yeah, especially if you if you life glitch those D-Machines, you can get some pretty inflated amounts of EXP real fast.
Yeah, you can. Now, it's a little tricky. If you haven't done a lot of shopping and haven't found life potions and had to use a number of them to get through the hook route, life glitching D-Machines can be tricky. Now, with the two white mages, and actually even really just one, if you kind of set up your party in a good order, so you get your weak caster, the person who bops the D-Machine, who bops the D-Machine, you can get a white mage that's casting the life glitches. So if Plumeria sets it up that way, but it shouldn't take very many of them at 10 key items, so pretty nice to find it now.
You know, like, we all know like the D-Machine grind, but the thing is that within the scope of doing a D-Machine grind, there is like a gradient of like technical skills you can do in that fight. Like, knowledge of the way the ATB works and the way turn order works and agility and all that stuff, you can get like a flawless or almost flawless, like impossibly fast D-Machine grind, or you can get like a more like, you know, slow one that's more methodical. It takes a little longer, but it's safer. So we know it's just a grind and it's, you know, kind of repetitive or whatever, but there's a lot of technical skill that goes into it once you know it like deep down.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that as a viewer that I've watched, it's like, oh, you know, they're just kind of doing the same thing over and over, but executing it very quickly is, you're right, it's a completely different thing. There are all sorts of things that can go wrong. If, for instance, in this party, Edge is significantly faster than the rest of this party, especially that base level Iridia. So what ends up happening is that Tella, you want a consistent turn order, so that you can cast weak and then punch a D-Machine and then cast a life glitch, and it's all consistent. But that Rydia is going to take turns very infrequently, and that Edge is going to take turns too frequently. So you have to find ways to manage that, which, I mean, they exist, but it's all, you're right, it's all skill expressive, even if it's sort of invisible skill expressive.
Yeah, do you think it's easy until you play the game and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do a D-Machine guy, and it's like, oh god, where's Tella's MP? Oh god, where's the D-Machine punching? Oh no. You know.
Yeah, and then sometimes, I mean, I've done so many D machine grinds at this point in my like freeing career, but just just last night I was doing a practice seed. I had a D machine going, and I had a Kane who finally jumped a turn, and he went before my Tele did, and I didn't expect it.
Oh no!
And I had summoned a D machine, so I guarded over, went to Tele, cast weak. Rose's turn came up. I sat on her for a moment, waiting for her to use aim, and I must have mistimed it because I was in a situation I didn't expect to be in, and she attacked first. D machine counters attacks with punches, punched Tele dead, and then I was just done.
Yeah, honestly,
it was the end of my grind, by the way.
and like just like that, 10 minutes, poof, gone.
Yeah, just
so
gone.
like
just
so
deleted.
like
yep.
It's like it may see like easy or like to the numbers, but you know it's a test of skill and patience.
Oh
no!
My god!
Where's that mute dagger? Where's that mute dagger?
LUF has it. Plumeria, I don't think looted it. Okay, so this is there's a lot to talk about here. Okay, first of all, D machine. What's also nice about setting this up is that Plumeria was able to come and set up the D machine grind. I'm the giant. You could also do it in Baron beforehand, but if you do it this way, you can peek that boss and see who it is first, because it might be free. It might be one of your required bosses. Plumeria instead sees that it's a very nasty rude boss, and is just going to do his D machine grind now. The other thing to talk about here is that we've only found 2 of our bosses. One of our bosses could very well be behind those Mega Sisters.
Calling it now, like CPU package and Giant or the Moon. I'm just calling it now. It's just been shaping out to be that way.
Yeah, very well could be. LUF also finding the bad news that DKC knocking your party down into Dark Imps is a pretty rude dwarf castle. Takes an unfortunate wipe and says, you know what? I'm just gonna go figure out how to live my life for a moment. I'll be back.
So we were freaking out about
is
that.
A great find.
Oh, fantastic!
Those
that completely fixes that. So we were freaking out about that Max Sisters down at the element spot, because that spot has like at 107,000 HP.
Yes.
So usually, if it's a single target boss, like the maximum the console can handle, the ROM is like 64,000. So that's the cap. Like, okay, that's it. But if you get like split bosses, well, that's 107,000 HP that you're eating, whether you like it or not, and that's a lot of HP.
It's a lot of HP, and that fight in general, it's Cindy, the sister in the middle, takes the most of that by 50,000 health, while her other sisters have about 25 or 28,000 each. No, I don't have good memory. I'm looking at a spreadsheet, but Cindy puts up a wall, or I guess Sandy puts up the wall on Cindy, so you can't reliably cast spells in order to deal damage to that middle sister with a party of mages. And if you kill the little sisters, Cindy will revive them. Especially if you kill Sandy, to stop her, or Mindy to stop her from casting spells. Like, it's just for a variety of reasons. And the back row glitch is off.
Oh, yeah.
For a variety of reasons. It's so gross. It's so gross. I would fade it, and I would feel horrible about it. But I mean, it's so time consuming.
Yeah, that's a fade. That's a fade, like, here.
Yeah, I mean, if it's one of your bosses, like, yeah, it sucks, but it cannot be both of them. Because Maga Sisters is not one of the required bosses, so it would only be the CPU spot. But then that would mean if it's at CPU, you have to find every other boss, even if they're behind the Luca key and the package, for instance. So yeah, this is Seed's gotten real spicy.
I mean, yeah, like, and still there's each of the missing bosses, which all of the spots aside from package, I guess the Twin Harp, it's pretty doable too, are pretty spicy.
Yeah, I mean, even if Plumeria, so like when LUF gets up there, if he goes up there to do D Machine, or just goes up there to check the boss and finds it's just Maga Sisters, I mean, LUF, even with Mute Dagger, like Full Moon Mute Dagger, what happens if you Zerk him? Then you have to rely on him reliably hitting the middle Magus Sister, or you get an accidental EXP grind. So I mean, like even in that world, it's just not cut and dry.
Shoutouts for PlumeriaKnight for using I believe like Psych or whatever on Edge as Tela to get MP from Edge to Tela to keep casting wigs. That's lovely.
Yep, makes sense. And while we were talking, that grind got completed already. We're at 10 key items. We just need a slingshot. That might be kind of what's happening here. Already done. See how much. Oh yeah, 630,000 EXP. That's plenty for that Rydia.
Meanwhile, LUF has just managed to sneak in a Quake with Palom, and that's it. That was the Zemus.
Very well done by LUF.
Oh, that was a big slingshot on Rydia from PlumeriaKnight. That's gonna be real nice.
Yeah, Rydia getting to level 53. She learns Nuke at level 50. But yeah, still has those Magus Sisters looming if he wants it. Chat pointing out that he does have a Mute Dagger and a Longsword. If he has, I think we said he bought a Full Moon. So that means he does have the kind of better setup to do that fight. But it's still not great. Yeah, so he's got that Full Moon and there's a Mute Dagger. And we see him putting it on, so yeah, he's gonna take it. Does the middle sister, is she considered in the back row?
Oh, I believe so, because she's behind.
I want to say she is, but formations. Formations
right.
in this game get weird sometimes.
Yeah, I believe it's based on like sprite on the x-axis. So if she's behind the sprite that's furthest to the right graphically, she's in the back row. I believe it's something like that. It's kind of silly, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. So taking off that Full Moon and putting on Mute Dagger. Long, probably worse than the Full Moon setup. You might see the damage is low and kind of react to it, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take this fight. I mean, there are ways to get through it as fast as possible. We're gonna say YOLO. We're gonna go Bacchus. Pray that Edge does what we need him to do. So yeah, so this is gonna be the Quakes. It's gonna be the Bacchus, and you know. See what happens.
What? If the middle sister revives the other two, well, that's more EXP. And like we said,
it is actually a lot more EXP.
like a lot of EXP.
Yeah.
So the more EXP, the safer Zemus and the Moon will be. So like it sucks in some levels, but it's something, I guess.
Edge dealing 6,600 in the front row with that setup against the back sister. The thing about being in the back row is that it hurts your accuracy, not your damage. So I think we're going to see some pretty wild variance on the damage rolls from Edge. Yeah, there's a 2,800 swing instead of a 6,600 swing.
Dang it.
And he won't be able to react because he berserked Edge. So if he ends up coming back to this fight, he might react and change it about a little differently. But we do need Edge to play with targeting here.
Enter this fight, you're committed to this fight. Like you ain't leaving until you finish it. This is like big time. What was it called? Like sunk cost fallacy. Like 100% all the way.
Yeah. At least the one good thing about this fight is that you know that if your opponent also takes it, though you don't know if your opponent will take it. If your opponent also takes it, they also do not have an easy way through it. Like, given the 7 characters that were available in this seed, there's kind of no good way through this. Edge, unfortunately, targeting both the middle, the back, and front sister. Gonna get a few good rounds of damage here, though, against Cindy. Probably gonna get her sisters back up and then have one more round of this. We'll see.
Meanwhile, LUF has taken the big peak down at the Fame Match bosses, so that right man down at the Via thing and like stop for a second, like and then like I always love that, like entering the Fame Match bosses room and like watching the racer just like stop, before leaving every single time. It's great.
Yeah. All right, Plumeria able to get through that fight without the middle sister summoning her other two. That worked out very well for him. The quakes were flying. Fight actually got through pretty quickly. I still don't want to understate how slow, like how that fight can kind of go sideways from a time perspective, but Plumeria handled it beautifully. Able to go back, take a save, heal up, and then hopefully get rewarded from the CPU boss fight. We'll see. This is all for the chance at a required boss, by the way. Just a chance. Yeah, meanwhile, LUF with that pan is going to be able to get the tower key and then start getting his darkness crystal, and then we'll see where LUF wants to go from there. Fight's certainly not over yet. Oh, womp womp. Just the elements at the CPU fight. So unfortunately for this seed, the Maga Sisters were for naught. Though it did get nuke on Plumeria's Palom, so it wasn't a complete loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you may think that it's like still a waste because moon bosses are gonna get you there because let's face it, at least one of these is gonna be a moon boss.
Yeah, it kind of has to be at this point.
Yeah, it has to be. But like even then, the safety of those HP levels, like it's gonna be real nice. Like Odin especially can be pretty dangerous. Even like Old Gauntlet can be real dangerous if it's like on a bad spot in the moon.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And also for Plumeria, looking for 5 of 6 bosses available, probably felt the odds were pretty decent that a boss might be at that CPU spot. LUF, meanwhile, we see is in Troya here. Find some Cure 3s. Might be gearing up for doing the Twin Harp. This would be a new check between our two runners.
I mean, if it's sought, or even the package, there's a boss there at the package too. If it's sought, it could be pretty big for LUF.
There's also the cheeky. Hear me out. It's not the time, but there's also the cheeky like check Zot 1 because you don't need the Earth Crystal for it because you're right here.
God, yeah, absolutely. You are correct that it's a thing you can do.
Yeah, but LUF is very perfectly set up for this Twin Harp. You want to be at low hit points or magnetized for this Dark Elf cutscene, so yeah, it's kind of now or never probably for LUF. Gonna go check this Twin Harp.
Yeah, absolutely. With your fighters magnetized and your mages at low HP, you can cast like a quick spell with Palom or something, and you're good.
Plumeria taking pretty wild action here. It says, you know what? I know that bosses are on the moon. However, an Earth Crystal, a Luca key, and a package, and a Baron key are all looming, and I need 5 of 6 bosses. Comes down to the Fame Arch. Says, I have the power from the Giant. I can take care of these bosses very quickly, and if I find one of those like 4 key items and they have 1 or more bosses behind them, it's a huge advantage for me. I love this play.
Yeah, totally. Like a restream in Yobari talking in chat, like, hey, if this is Baron key, that's 3 bosses right there, for example. And Mylon is not particularly threatening.
No, especially not now with all the levels, all the nukes. Fully geared up Edge here.
Meanwhile,
it is a very quick check.
Half of the cutscene with Dark Elf in the fight, which is one of the best you can get because that week comes real late. So, as usual, we randomize a lot of things in its randomizer, including the music Edward plays with the art. So please enjoy.
Enjoy.
And that was the Mr. Saturn Village music from Earthbound, and that also was a Volvalis, which is required. What a play by Love.
And we're gonna get, just a white spear. It's a great dart and good money, but yeah, we got the value out of the boss that was here for sure. Also great music. I still have my Earthbound strategy guide, by the way. It came in the box. Only Super Nintendo game I remember that was like this. Came in a huge box with the official like Nintendo Power strategy guide inside it.
Is that the one that came with the scratch and sniff, or was that something else?
Yes, with the scratch and sniff in the back. And so it was each of the bosses was represented by a scratch and sniff card, and there was a mystery scent that you could like mail in what it was to get a reward. I never could figure out what it was, so I never turned it in. Yeah, no, this is real. It turned out to be I'm forgetting the scent. It was like pizza or something like that. I actually don't remember. But when I looked this up many years later, yeah, if you sent it in and you won, like you got the right answer, they gave you like a car scent, like a car scent thing to hang in your car.
Wow!
Yeah,
big reward right here, folks. Big money from Nintendo.
But wouldn't that be so cool to have it now, especially if it was unopened? Like, what a great piece of vintage gaming paraphernalia. But yeah, I could never figure out what that scent was. Yeah, chat confirming it was pizza. It was mock pizza. They all smelled kind of like weird nothing to me. I don't know. It was very strange, but I still loved it.
Funky smells.
Oh, you guessed wrong and you still got the air freshener? Oh, man.
Wow.
Wow.
Childhood broken.
I know.
The lies from Nintendo run so deep.
See, look, that's your reminder, folks, to go for it, even if you're unsure.
Yeah. So while LUF has defeated Volvalis and gotten that objective done, PlumeriaKnight is suddenly really hot on his heels. He just has done 180 degrees, and instead of going for the moon, he's going right up on Cape Manaknis.
Yeah, Plumeria's got to be feeling a bit behind now. That Fame Arch ended up being a total bust, and that's the danger of taking that gamble, right? Is that if you didn't go to the moon and just get the gems from the moon instead kind of getting nothing from that Fame Arch. It still makes a lot of sense, though, because clearing the entire moon is pretty time consuming, and you get to skip all of that if you hit in the Fame Arch instead. But yeah, that didn't work out. It happens, rando happens, but we're gonna get a reprise of that Saturn Valley theme. Plumeria making really smart use of fast anchoring with Edge in the middle there and a dart, nearly one-shotting Val, didn't quite get it, sent a nuke her way, which actually would have one-shot her, but there's no guarantee that she doesn't go into tornado form immediately, but gets that really quickly. Obviously the levels are huge. Able to get his Valvalis done, get his White Spear reward, which I suppose is like a dart return on investment, like you donate one dart, you get a better one back, I guess. What I really want to see Plumeria do here, though, is a cheeky Zon one check. I think that would be really wonderful. You're here, it's only going to take about a minute. You've already spent the time in the Fey March. You're really dedicated to clearing out this Earth. Doesn't do it. It's reasonable. It's reasonable to not, but like I would have been so happy if he did.
Honestly, like the more I see people play these seeds, the more I advocate for the sword one check. Like, oh, like sure, you take some time. Like sure, it's like 50 seconds. Near I was saying with good movement, but like the peace of mind you get from that is absolutely fantastic. And if it is a boss you need, that's just like one good check, like right out of the way. Sure, you have to go all the way back again, but still, it's a boss objective. That's one less you need in a like pretty bad spot.
Yeah, I mean it's all a gamble at this point, right? Like,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
trying to find the gambles that are going to be the most efficient for you, trying to find the plays that are going to, save, be the safest for you, be the most, EV positive, or like, over a long period of time, if you make these checks through a great variety of seeds, you come out positive instead of negative. And Zot 1 is one of those that's really tricky. I mean, you spend a minute to get information, but if information's not there, you ended up wasting a minute essentially. So for runners, for all of us, I think, even up to the top level, it's not cut and dry on how to play these seeds from like a macro level, which is part of what makes them so interesting to me.
Absolutely. I wonder if LUF is gonna go ahead and check out the moon, because LUF doesn't have Tela, so I don't think he's gonna do any kind of like cheeky grind. Oh, bye.
So LUF could step in to Mysidia and pick up, get Tela back if he wanted to. Really a lot of options available, but heading back to Troya, might be looking for something in a shop here. Could be the Cure 3s, could be the Ether 1s. Okay, this sounds like setting up for a D-Machine to me. Though I will say that the starting kit does come with elixirs in it, and the elixir is a perfectly serviceable item to get MP back. But yeah, we'll see where he wants to go. Meanwhile, Plumeria, over on the moon to boss checks. That was a fun little run in, run out. Might have on instinct wanted to come in the LST and get the character cutscene out of the way to then step out and save, so that he can save scum the Mursame altar, but on the Sino earned flag, there's actually no cutscene. It's kind
Honestly,
of neat for the character.
Kind of refreshing.
Yeah, like, it's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah, like usually you get the lunar well, and it's like, oh, but now I have to go to the moon to check the character. But then, or even if you're like, oh, I'm gonna be cheeky and check that Murasame spot, and then like, oh, I don't need this, And now you just kind of walk in, no problem. That with a single car in the world, it's kind of nice actually.
It's really nice. You don't have to worry about that character. Oh. All right, this is step 1 of literally every required boss being on the moon, or at least 5 of them, which I guess will be all of them. Technically, there's technically a world. So we have Golbez and the Murasame altar. This is step 1 of 5.
So for the folks that don't know, the reason why PlumeriaKnight casts Venom on the whole party, it's so they are not affected by the paralysis that comes right after. The ATB is still completely frozen in favor of Golbez because he's the cheater. But the moment that the Shadow Dragon goes away, they will regain control of their party even before they get healed from the paralysis. So they will be able to do inputs much quicker.
Yeah, so they'll be able to set up walls or star veils, especially losing all of your mages. Probably not really what Plumeria wanted to see, but I mean, it's not super important. Edge will be able to get up a star veil now. And the reason this works is we were talking earlier about Froggy strats. This game, their statuses are kind of implemented on a priority system, so you can't you can't like apply two status effects at once if one has greater priority than the other. So poison has more priority than paralysis in this game setup, and so the paralysis never takes effect because of the poison.
So one of the big strategies for Golbez is I put up a Starville, I got a wall set up, and I use reflex spells right back at Golbez. This spot doesn't have that incredibly high magic power, but it has high enough that Golbez can take himself out, especially with those lightning threats dealing some pretty decent damage. But even then, PlumeriaKnight's whole party is down, and Golbez with bad targeting can just keep those party members down as long as he wants. It's kind of tricky.
Yeah, he kind of lost the worst party members, I would say, to get through this quickly. But I think what Plumeria could do here is with the Star Veil up, if he uses a Bacchus and just Cirques, I mean, it will take a very long time with a slow anchor like Tella for that Star Veil to drop off. And oh, Golbez is a sniper, just picks up, just targets that full hit points Rosa with the lit 3 and says, nah, you're trying to pick somebody up? No. you're down.
So we were in chat pointing out, like, because of Venom and because of the Sados priority.
Oh yeah, he can't Berserk, yeah.
He can't be Berserk because Venom takes priority over Berserk. The thing that most fights against Golbez don't have is Wall as a spell, and this Rosa has it. So if Rosa gets a cheeky walling sometimes, it could be nice, because I think PlumeriaKnight is running out of Star Veils.
He might have a few more. We're not sure lower in his inventory, but yeah, he might be out. But yeah, with that poison unfortunately being higher priority than Berserk, it might have actually been the better strategy to not Venom up his team, because Edge is guaranteed to survive. But I mean, you never really know which party members are going to live, right? It's tricky.
Absolutely. Rydia going for the nuke, and Rosa going for the white, because Golbez is weak to holy damage. It's quadruple 9 digits, and Golbez is down. Nice. Really great work by PlumeriaKnight.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of stumbling into a setup that would work for him, but yeah, very well done. Gets a rat tail for his trouble too, which could be the road towards something like an Earth Crystal for more bosses.
The thing is that we have 4 bosses left. I'm like, sure, the Moon has like 5 bosses left, but you know what? Baron R3 package is another one, and Salt R2. So all of them could, like, the Moon could be haunted after this Golbez. That's a perfect possibility.
It could be. I mean, I think the odds are probably best that it's kind of like some on the Moon and the rest behind something like the Baron Keat.
Listen, it happened to me. It happened to me. I went to the Moon. I went to the Moon like, oh, this makes sense statistically, and the seed was like, have to check package.
I mean, look, single rolls don't care about your statistics.
100%
a D20
correct.
can still roll a 1. It doesn't care about the odds long term. So yeah, that makes sense. LUF fighting Sirens in the Moon Shop. That's really, really great for him. Going to be able to finish up his grind.
We saw LUF take a couple of gold dragons right then and there for some levels, I believe, and maybe even money. I don't know. So
levels,
finding those tyrants there means that he can just keep doing those gold dragons with that Tella right there. Tella having access to weak, you can just weak the gold dragons and then smack them out to make them go away, and then life glitch them to just keep getting levels.
Yeah, and shouldn't take too long for LUF to do. But yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, the Baigan spot also, by the way. We do know that it's not one of the bosses. I can't remember now which boss that Baigan spot was, but I remember noting, even if mentally, no, I almost had it.
Evil Wall.
Thank you. Yeah, it's Evil Wall. So yeah, it's not one of our bosses, but it could still be there's 2 other bosses there. It could be.
Absolutely, you're right. I honestly forget. Oh boy,
right,
Mom
that's
Bomb.
a miss. That's Mom Bomb.
PlumeriaKnight
says Oh,
No.
okay. Yeah. Thought about
That's
it.
fair.
Was like, nah. I'll do the rest first, and it's smart. It's smart to do this. You're banking on a chance that like this ribbon room is a boss instead, and the ribbon room also has a Baron key or whatever behind it. So,
Talking about
no,
Bygonder Haze.
we're finding
Um,
more Red Moon eligible bosses, but not ones required on this seed. That was Mombom in the White Spear Altar, and Baigan in the ribbon room. Both kind of gross, but not the bosses we're looking for.
One thing that I saw LUF do that I really liked was like not knowing which boss was this. He set up the battle speed down to 3 before fighting always, and I think that was really clever of him.
I think setting the battle speed to 3 on the moon is smart because
Ooh.
there is a wyvern at the Masamune altar.
Gross.
Plumeria immediately going to set up.
Only one Star Veil?
So he can't run buffer here. So run buffering's weird in these spots, but he's at battle speed 3, I'm gonna guess, maybe 4. That's enough time to get 2 Star Veils off, which is honestly gonna be enough. These mages can start slinging nuke now. He might pick up 1 or 2 people for safety. He's actually pausing to think about it, yeah. So we see him go back at his magic menu. It's gonna reflect nukes. Reflecting because Wyvern will pretty quickly put up a wall on himself. But we've just got to deal, what, 42,000 hit points of damage? Might not exactly have time, though. This is pretty tight. But yeah, battle speed 3 is kind of like the good number for mages.
I agree, especially for like reflex strats back to Zemus. Honestly, I think you can do is like you have a Rydia, right? And you have a Rydia with reflect with Sarvel. You can just spam Chocobo and look have a Wyvern mega nuke hit himself for 999 repeatedly. That's
so Plumeria's counting damage. Yeah,
there it is.
That Wyvern's going to go down. Very smart, very well done. If that didn't kill, he was going to put up an elixir for safety.
This has to be a key item. That's not terminal.
Yeah.
Oof. We have to take some other like normal bosses, right? Or at least we have to take some, right?
Oh yeah, it's well, he's gonna take the Crystal Sword Altar, see if that's a boss, and then see if that has a key item. But then you're kind of in this awkward spot where, like, it's pretty likely or not likely, but you're in a world where you could need one of the key items in the ribbon room or the White Spear altar, and you need to kill the Crystal Sword altar. The Crystal Sword altar might be a required boss, but doesn't have a key item. Like, it's kind of gross as far as like routing efficiency goes. This is kind of tough.
The other thing is that the more
bosses...
Plumeria,
I think, is going to take the choice. Oh no, he's walking the other way. Never mind.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
The more bosses that you have to defeat to get through the seat, especially like lunar bosses, the more that PlumeriaKnight's grind is less effective against LUF getting levels via bosses, because there's a point in Free Enterprise where levels are sure real handy and stuff, but especially with mages, you're gonna get to the damage cap sooner rather than later, and then you're good. More levels aren't gonna help you. So if LUF gets his grind through bosses, while PlumeriaKnight did a big grind, so maybe this is the way LUF catches up a little bit.
Yeah, it could be a way to catch up. It's a little tricky for LUF because there's the D-Lunar. So this is what I was talking about, though, where you have to kill these D-Lunars, and if this gives another non-key item, you get in this spot where it's like, I think Plumeria might be incentivized to exit and check that rat tail and hope that it gets a key item, because otherwise we've done everything on Earth. We've done literally everything on Earth. It has to be either at cave value, this spot right here, or at the White Spear or Ribbon Room, and it being the Baron Key, the Earth Crystal, the package, the Luca Key, one of these things that's holding one of our other bosses, unless Zot 1 has one of the bosses.
I guess, yeah, huh?
So this is good for LUF, because LUF is definitely behind after kind of the early game wipe at the Hook Route and then also at Dwarf Castle. So this is a chance for him to make up time depending on where he chooses to go to find ultimately these key items that Plumeria is also looking for, unless... No, just a Stardust rod.
Oh my god. The spots, the bosses, the remember bosses that are not required to have the key items. Oh my goodness.
Game, where are the bosses? Where are the key items? Please.
Oh, I mean...
Yeah, Plumeria. Okay, Plumeria sets up a save, is gonna exit, gonna check, either check the rat tail or might check cave value first. He could also set up a second save here. This is where, kind of near end game, you can start setting up a lot of save scum. So you can put one save in the Crystal Room altar and then one save on top of the moon, separate save slots. You go check the rat tail. If rat tail has nothing, you can reset to on the lunar surface, check cave value, and if that doesn't have anything, then you could reset back to the Crystal Sword altar. But instead, I think Plumeria will end up resetting to the Crystal Sword altar if this is nothing and run kind of back to the bottom. But yeah, this is a rat tail chuck right now. Could also be a Zot 1 chuck, honestly. And yeah, he's gonna do it.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a Zot 1. If it's in Zot 2 though, oof. Like if it's in Zot 2, that's like time you just spend and it didn't pay off, you know, and then maybe you need to go up there like anyways, you know.
Yeah, but if it's Zot 1, that's go mode, and he's got the pass, so he'd be right where he needs to be. So yeah, this is a big moment for Plumeria. If you're a fan of LUF, here, you need this to be a dead chuck. Otherwise, Plumeria is very much in the driver's seat. So see what the randomizer has in store for us.
I mean, if it isn't Zot 1, like you check the rat tail afterwards, right?
Yeah, you check the rat tail hoping for the funniest thing, I think, for us, not for Plumeria, would be the Earth Crystal, but you check the rat tail hoping for one of these gating key items. If you don't get it, Plumeria is going to reset back to the Crystal Sword altar and check for key items. That's just Bahamut, Zot 1, it's not it.
Ooh.
Back to the moon. Well, no, first rat tail.
If LUF stays in the moon fighting bosses for the EXP and for key items and finds, I don't know, like Baron or Saw or like Earth Crystal or package, and it's the package boss, like this could be huge.
It could be huge. This race is not necessarily over. Rat tail is the next important check. What do we got? Luca key, okay. That's progression. Could be nothing. It could be literally everything. So Luca is one boss and one key item.
Come on.
Yeah. It's getting real hairy here.
Key, huh?
Yeah. Meanwhile, so we talked about froggy strats before, by the way. These do lunars. We only have the one frog on screen that makes killing them kind of annoying and tricky.
So the other thing is that, well, the people that you don't have walled up actually do get hit with Reft if it doesn't miss, and that's real annoying because it's like 15 status effects all pile up on top of each other. It's
horrible.
Part.
Yeah, if you're familiar with more balls, and actually this game in future Final Fantasies, that's what the attack is. But Plumeria, maybe a bit panicking, maybe a bit rushed, like, oh my god, where's this boss? Runs down the Fame Arch for just a moment and says, wait, no. Wrong way. Let's go to Luca. But yeah, LUF is going to continue here. So yeah, this is huge. This is Divergence. Not exiting out means actually... Oh, wait. Might not actually be able to exit out without having done Zod. I just thought about this. Oh, okay. LUF picked up that Tella. But yeah, wants to do the rest of this moon here, so... This is really close now. Just really depends where these key items are.
If this isn't the boss... Oh my god, if this down here at the of the sealed cave is not the boss for PlumeriaKnight is looking for, like, oh my god, that would be like freaking out so hard.
That would be amazing for us, because then we definitely have a race on our hands. I would say that if this has absolutely nothing, that these two would be kind of neck and neck, depending on where LUF decides to go kind of after some of these checks, because LUF might end up chasing some of these checks Plumeria did, but... Baron Key, okay. Okay.
Oh
We're
boy.
getting much more likely to a place where this was the play. Here's a boss
this
check.
is the play.
It's like almost guaranteed. Like, actually, is it guaranteed? It might actually just be guaranteed. We've seen Zot 1 is nothing. Oh, okay. The only world now is that the Earth Crystal, Zot 2 could be the boss. Earth Crystal goes Package. Package has the other boss.
Yeah, the only other possibility is that it's Zot 2 and Package, if this isn't anything.
Right, which is... We're in a world where that's pretty unlikely now. But Luca was not the boss, so now we've got to run to Baron.
Oh man, this is so exciting. Like, I was not expecting the seed to be this way. Like, honestly, like CC5, no matter which moon, like seeds can turn out. It's like, oh, the seed just puts each boss after the other one, you know, like stepping stones, and you go, who has the better like execution, you know? And the other way that these seeds can go is like, well, time to like dig holes and try to find these bosses. Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what ends up happening with these seeds, though. But when you have boss hunts, and it's part of what makes these races really exciting for me. LUF is not interested in that Mom Bomb. Probably, so he's for sure going to face check these bosses. Finds Mom Bomb, finds Baigan, isn't interested. We'll find that Wyvern and take it. But then the critical decision point after that is going to be where he decides to go after that. I think actually, the cave value could also have the Earth Crystal. It's the only really outstanding key item. It's most likely behind Baron, but we don't really know.
I mean, it has the same chances of being behind Baron that being Zot 2 and the package, you know. Yeah. But Baron it's more likely that we will see it because it has the two checks closer together. But if it isn't Baron, oh man, like just imagining, you know, myself in PlumeriaKnight's shoes, and the idea, just a mere thought running through my head right now, like, what if it isn't Baron? What do I do if the bosses are not in Baron? Like, oh my god, which boss do I go for? Where do I go to try to get that package and the Earth Crystal? Where are they, you know?
Yeah, that's where you start to feel real nervous and be like, wow, I'm getting randoed pretty hard here.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it just happens, right?
Yeah, it happens
sometimes
to everyone.
Sometimes you just gotta laugh when those situations
honestly, absolutely.
come up, because
it's absolutely comical at one point.
But so Baigan is evil wall.
There is also the possibility that either of the Baron spots have the package or the Earth Crystal. In fact, that's probably what it is. There's also the Legend Sword, but still, it could be on the moon somehow.
Yeah, I mean, if any of this
stuff... It's possible.
Yeah, if any of this... basically if any key items or bosses are behind... I mean, obviously bosses, but if any key items that aren't the Legend Sword are behind Baron, LUF's run is pretty dead here. But yeah, see where Plumeria wants to go. Some runners like to run Odin at this point because they know they could take it, and if Odin was the boss, then you kind of save on the cutscene time. But Plumeria says, "Yeah, I'll do the Baron, the main Baron check." Okay, so that's go mode. It's also my favorite.
The real King of Baron was the King of Baron all along.
It's like that, it's like Scooby-Doo. Like the face revealing, like
it was Old Man Jenkins.
You thought it was Odin, but it was me, Odin.
One Odin in a trench coat.
It's pretty good, Mecha Link.
But yes,
yeah.
that's 7 objectives in go mode for PlumeriaKnight. We did not see the fan favorite, the old gauntlet in this seed. It's probably hiding somewhere deep and hidden, like Sod or the package.
Yeah, but
meanwhile,
yeah.
LUF, regrettably, LUF is lagging a bit behind. Has to do the whole Luca key to Baron exchange, unless the old gauntlet is hiding somewhere and he manages to find it real quick. But even then, PlumeriaKnight has to pass on the levels. It's I don't foresee PlumeriaKnight taking a wipe to Zemus. That will be pretty bad luck.
Yeah, this is unfortunately all but over for this race as far as who will win out at this point. Plumeria is well set up, well geared, well leveled. Just a Zeus Gauntlet in the Baron kind of pot there. But, I mean, it's useful. He'll be able to put it on edge, but it's not so important, really, because we've got these mages. We'll be able to do reflect strats at Zemus and probably be done with this seed pretty quickly for Plumeria here.
The thing with
honestly, it's come so quickly. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing with reflex strat is that do you know we talk about the element spot, how the maximum HP that the game can handle is like 64 something thousand. Well, Zemus cheats on that and has like an HP refill when he gets down to 14,000 or something like that. I forget the exact number. It has a 4 somewhere. And like, once he gets there, he has a counter to refill his HP to maximum. But this one quirk of the programming is that if you reflect the spell, it doesn't trigger any counter script. So you're able to bypass the refill with reflect strats, making for a much faster fight if you set it up properly.
Yep, you go in at battle speed 3, you've got 2 new casters, you've got a white caster, Plumeria's got the right setup for this. And
you can even dart.
And darts. But meanwhile, we see the Zemus flags in chat. Alchemy, would you like to do the honors?
Sure. We have so the thing is that you may have noticed Zemus is always in the same spot because we do not randomize where Zemus is, because his script is real nasty. He has too much power. It's a doozy. But we like to randomize things, so we change not where Zemus is or his stats, but what Zemus looks like. And there's like 570 something sprites. I don't know, like 5 million.
So many sprites, hundreds, literally hundreds.
There is I don't know, like a 5 kilometer long list of things we like to ask around here, and one of them is like, whose spot are we gonna kick tonight?
How is Bud? Is Bud cute? Is Butt the survey that asks the questions that how Butt is? Is the butt creepy? Does it have a butt? Are there multiple butts?
New seed sprite butt survey, which is like a butt survey, which is like a checklist of how, where. Oh wow!
Oh hey, we've got Scala in chat here. This is our resident art dev, Scala Kitty, as a Zemus sprite, holding that magical newspaper ready to do some damage. It's Scalamus.
Yep.
Scala calling out in chat. For all you folks in YouTube, thank you, we love you. Scala's calling out in chat. 1v1 me, nerds.
Wow. Shots fired.
Love it.
That's a competitive like tournament spirit, like flaring up, like the nukes coming from Scalamus, I guess.
By the way, also confirmed has a hat. Also absolutely confirmed is very cute.
100% correct. Yes.
Yep.
I suspected PlumeriaKnight isn't having much issue with the fight. Those darts with the levels Edge has are like absolutely tremendous, and the spells are really powerful. It's close to quad 9s every time. It seems like a bygone conclusion at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Plumeria, I mean, has got so much health. Like he'd really have to go out of his way to find a wipe at this fight. And Zemus can often be really like a difficult fight, even in sometimes the best of circumstances. But this is a really safe setup here. We've already done so much damage that we're going to be able to deal the rest of the damage before, almost certainly before the second Big Bang comes out. Guard's over with Edge because we're not darting anymore. We don't want to do any direct damage. We just want to get out like another white and 1 or 2 more nukes to finish it. One more nuke coming out, might need 2 or so. But even if something were to happen here, you can get somebody healthy. But yeah, we're done. There's the crack, and PlumeriaKnight is the winner of this showdown between PlumeriaKnight and LUF. Get your GGs out and chat for Plumeria. He's the winner. We've got an official race spot time here of 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 16 seconds. And we'll see if Plumeria is available for an interview. Oh, actually, I see. I normally hear the ding in my ear, but I think I missed it. I think Plumeria has joined us now. GG's, Plumeria.
Thank you.
So
yeah.
bosses. Bosses and where they exist in the seed. Would you like to tell us your feelings?
Well, I guess this is one of those times when key items on the moon actually matter. How about that?
Yeah, it doesn't always come up in these seeds, but sometimes it does. But pretty well navigated by you. Yeah, just tell us like kind of what. So you start out, you see a tele pretty early. You know, we all know D machines are kind of a thing. You end up doing that for your grind, but you know, just early game, kind of walk us through. You know, what you were thinking, what your routing plans were to get through like the early and mid game.
Well, I guess the first thing was that Spoon. Starting out with that was pretty useful. I used it quite early on the Demus, but there were actually several places where it would have been really helpful. CPU at Baron Inn or the Pale Dim on the hook route would have probably been better places, but figured might as well use it early, save some time. I think it not too bad of a decision, but probably better to use it later.
No, but it saved you so much time. That fight took you, what, like 10 seconds or whatever? And I think it took LUF maybe a minute, maybe a couple minutes, as, he didn't use that dart there. So, I mean, I think it was a really good decision, personally.
Yeah, and I just swapped out Rydia for Porum eventually, because I thought Twin would carry me through the early game, along with Edge. That would be a pretty good way to keep Rydia low level, too. Not have to worry about her.
Yeah, so you get through, you go down the hook route, you find the Pale Dim. First time in that fight went a little tricky for you. What'd you do to sort of reset and make sure you got through that fight?
The Pale Dim fight?
Yeah, the Pale Dim on the hook route.
Yeah, I just kind of, I don't know, got my blinks up and just kind of waited it out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up working out. Yeah, pretty smartly for you. Able to it's never fast, right? But got through the hook route pretty quickly. Yeah.
It's then that mid game.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, it's just when I got underground, there's just nothing down there.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be completely empty and darkness was going to be at Harp, and it was going to be kind of a humorous seed, but also kind of not.
Right.
Darkness did end up being down there, but there's nothing else down there.
No, until go ahead, Alchemy.
So one of the reasons, one of the things I noticed that was interesting to me was that you got the Lunar Well, you did your grind, and then you didn't go to check the moon immediately. You still kept doing like other checks instead of going to the moon. Can you tell me like your thought process on making that decision?
Yeah, so I think it's actually decent odds that Go Mode was on the moon, but I just had so many key items missing: Baron, Luca, Earth, Package. And it was just too many bosses. I couldn't just leave to go punt, 4 of 5 or 5 of 6 remaining bosses. It didn't feel like good odds.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. When we were
Yeah.
saying this as you were doing it, yeah, that if you could kind of fade having to clear the moon for key items, it would have been a huge advantage for you. Just didn't work out this seed.
Yeah, I was able to at least skip the optional fights on the moon. But otherwise, I just left it save up there, came back to the Earth to chase the rat tail to see. Because I figured, key item spots, they're supposed to be a little weighted heavier, so maybe that'll be the key to the seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So we were talking. I mean, I was like at least talking like, like I can imagine you were pretty freaked out. Like at the end of the seed, like the bosses just were not showing up, and you were running out of options. Like, what was your thought process on like, okay, like let me go down to the overworld and check these bosses instead of like defeating some lunar bosses? Like, those are faster, sure, but like I don't know, the decision would like turn me apart. It's tough, real tough.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's just having to defeat optional bosses on the moon just isn't really in my game plan. So when I did get exactly one key item, I eventually had to kind of make that decision anyway. So, but luckily I got kind of exactly what I needed, depending on where that alt gauntlet was.
Yeah, it all worked out. We don't exactly know where the alt gauntlet is yet. We're guessing it's locked behind, either Zot 2 or a package, or maybe the Odin Throne, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, either way, it all worked out. I mean, it worked out for you. You're through. You've come out victorious. So yeah, next week your opponent's a Scratch Dragon. I see. How you feeling about that matchup?
Pretty nervous. Every seed is a boss hunt, so.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every seed can be panic go mode. Every seed can be where the heck are my bosses. Yeah. Well, I think that's the end of my questions. You got any more, Alchemy?
Nope, I asked mine as well. GG's PlumeriaKnight. Well rates despite the seed deciding to do play hide and seek and stuff.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the restream. Solaris, Alchemy, Judge Joe on tracking, and Yobari on restreaming. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for putting on such a good show. It was such a pleasure to watch you get through this seed. It was a delight. Thank you very much. All right, and that was PlumeriaKnight, our winner for tonight's race. And while we were in that interview, LUF has found his way through the rest of the seed and is now about to take on his Zemus as well.
It is interesting how by the end of the seed, the LUF's party ended up being pretty much exactly the same as PlumeriaKnight's, because that Tela was just so like pivotal to the way the seed wants to be played, because sometimes you can play a seed however you want and it kind of works out, but some of the times it feels like, at least to me, that a seed wants to be played a certain way. Like it just puts you like the tools it wants you to use, and I feel like this is one of such seeds with like the Tela and the slingshotting and Rydia and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, LUF got a different way through for his grind. He's able to get to 10 key items and found Sirens on the moon and was able to do that instead of the D Machine. And I believe didn't really need to bother with the Giant unless he might have checked it kind of beforehand.
Oh, I don't think he
before
ever
getting the rat tail. But I don't think so either, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, given the character availability, the other two characters were a Sid, right? And forgetting the seventh right now.
And a Porum, I think.
Oh, right, and the Porums. Yeah, I mean, the seed really just handed you mages, right? It handed you mages and maybe 1.5 circles. So sometimes you get Well, I mean, if you get like an Artemis bow for Sid, like he could be pretty good. If you can forge, you asked me at the start of this race about forging. I mean, sometimes that super forge can have like a fiery hammer behind it. Then Sid would be incredible.
Neither of our racers ended up forging. Kind of makes sense.
Couldn't find the legend. Well, couldn't find the legend sword, right?
Oh, yeah, they had to start. Yeah, you didn't. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
It's always tough with that forge because it's so random. You just don't know what you're gonna get. The forge shop is usually pretty nice, though.
Yeah, like depending on the equipment that I've got so far, it's depends on whether or not I want to do that shop, get that shop items. But usually I'm leaning towards the forge, especially if I have, the thing is that if you have an eclectic pool of characters, like multiple characters, the pool of super forge items that you may want that you can use is larger. But if you only get in this case, only mages, especially Rydia and Rosa, that only they can equip their stuff. Like with fighters, it's nicer. That's what I'm saying, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the mage weapons just aren't very exciting. They're glorified life staffs and
if you
Stardust
don't have
rods.
one, it's useful.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good stats if you don't have one, but yeah, it's not like a fiery hammer, which on Sid just would break the game wide open, because then you could have a completely different party composition, right? It would be like a power couple, but the power couple is like Sid and Rosa instead.
Oh well, they're really good bots, so there you go. Anyway, it seems like LUF is done, coming in second place with a time of 1 hour 53 minutes 19 seconds. GG's LUF, and I believe we have joined LUF. Hello, friend. You are muted.
Hello.
Hello.
Apologies, I was setting up my audio inputs.
It's okay, I understand. So that seed was pretty nasty, huh?
Well, no, not at all. I mean, everything went perfectly. That whole Eblin sequence went so badly. I'm gonna have to watch that back and gonna totally torture myself watching that back. Messing up the agility with Sid, thinking, oh, sure, I'm gonna find a curse string, or I'm gonna grind a little to blink and forget to save in the midst of the grind, and I was, oh
no.
Well. Everything went badly. I actually sold a spoon also while entering Eblin.
Yeah, we caught that. We were glad that you reset and remembered to save that.
Yeah, actually, at least I didn't last a lot of time on that one, but the very bad save at the grind, forgetting to save before doing one more fight, was a huge mistake.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but sometimes things happen, and the best thing that you can do and that you did was to just sort of rally yourself, right, and kind of respond to what happened and keep going, and I mean, you did that. I mean, ultimately at the end of this race, you were 10 minutes behind Plumeria when all is said and done, but I mean, 10 minutes after a lot of things going sideways in Dwarf Castle, I think also gave you some trouble there. I think you recovered as well as you could have, and there was a world where the key items line up and the bosses, because of how bosses were really hidden in this seed, there was very much a world that you were still in it.
Yeah, I did feel like once I went through, Dwarf Castle, which went pretty badly also. It was very catastrophic. I mean, I'm really gonna torture myself watching that back too. But after that, once I went, okay, I'm gonna try to find the Darkness Crystal. I'm gonna do all weird checks and stuff like that, because I actually was pretty sure that Plumeria was in advance of me. And even if I didn't mess up that badly, I respect Plumeria a lot. I believe he's the strongest player between us two. He's got better mechanics and all. So I was pretty much, okay, whatever I do, I'm going to try to at least sneak in one gimbal. I had a very good idea where I could find those gimbals, and actually did all of them, all I could, just so I could catch up in case he actually had some troubles on the side too, or maybe would actually try to do the old moon or stuff like that. So I was trying. I was still trying.
So one of the divergences, like one of the things you did different from PlumeriaKnight early on is that you took that seed while PlumeriaKnight didn't. So why did you pick up that seed early on instead of that Tela? What was your thinking on that decision?
First of all, I know I can pick Tela back anytime I get the Darkness Crystal, and
Makes
it's
sense.
actually pretty much underway. It's pretty much a gamble. Early on, Sid is actually usually good. I wouldn't say very good or anything like that, but he's got a lot of HP. You can put him the front row, and deal some okay damage. While Tela, until you haven't done the Mount Ordeals, it's pretty much a drag on the party. He's dragging you back, and it's kind of slow. So in practice, I'd end up picking up Sid instead of Tela very often at the beginning of the game, and then switching. It doesn't make a huge difference, I would say, but there are times where you need to switch back and you lose a little of time. But so it's mainly about this. I know Tela does have his utility. I mean, he's got exit. You do not have it with anyone else. And obviously, he can cast weak. He can do a lot of stuff. He's very useful. But often at the end at Z, I ended up using Sid as a chemist very often, since he does not die from that first big bang. So it's kind of useful there too.
Yeah, Sid has some really good utility because he's like really, really tanky and has a lot of HP, and his agility is good for like anchoring, and he can even deal some nice, decent damage. So I totally understand. I really like Sid. Some people don't, but I really do too.
Yeah, so speaking of that, Tala, one other thing I wanted to ask about was going to the giant on your mind going to the giant at any point on your mind, either for the bosses or to do maybe like a D machine grind.
Well, I was ready to do a D machine grind when I actually had 2 sirens when I went on the moon, just to check. I wanted to see what was in Diamond Cave. So I had 2 sirens, and I was, okay, I'm in a better situation than I thought. I know this is pretty much 360 XP, 60k XP. So that's a lot of XP. I know I'm not actually good enough for getting nuked, but at the same time, I could simply hit the shop, get maybe some sirens. I got lucky there. There was sirens, and it's very faster than doing the giant. Obviously, it could have been the wrong choice. The buses could have been on the giant too, but overall, I went for the fastest grind, and that did help catching up. At least I hope so.
It makes a lot of sense. I think it did actually ultimately save you time. Plumeria took a D machine grind. It went pretty quickly, but then Plumeria was incentivized to check those bosses and ended up having to fight Magus Sisters just to find the elements behind her. Yeah, so it's kind of a miss there.
That one hurts. Yeah. And there's always
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, even if you actually do the grind and you're prepared to do those 2 fights, those are long fights. Those are very long fights, and it's kind of a 50-50 in my mind if either you do the dimension grind at that point. So I knew it was unconventional play from my part, so I needed to catch up, so I went with it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think we're going to see plays like that from other folks as well that want to, try a different way besides doing the D machine. And I mean, again, the seed goes a different way. I mean, of course, you had some early stumbles, so it could have worked out, pretty well in your favor. So I think the decision making is pretty sound. But yeah, as far as questions go, I think that's about all I had. Do you have any others, Alchemy?
Nope, not at all. Thanks a lot, Love. And the tournament's not over. You can still make a big mark down in the winning bracket. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can do with a Commander seat, especially.
All right. Well, I really hope I can do actually better on the next match. Of course, it'd be kind of shame to go 0-2, but I mean, there are some players who have to go 0-2.
Yeah.
So it might end up being.
There's no shame. Like all of the players in the Red Moon are like really really good. So there's no shame going 0-2 at all. I know I'm probably gonna go 0-2 in my like Blue Moon bracket, and there's also no shame in that. These folks are real good at free enterprise, and so are you. Never forget. You may make some mistakes sometimes, but it's always been a joy watching you play in the tournament season. So thanks a lot.
Absolutely, completely agree.
Thank you both of you. Thank you Soleras, thank you Alchemy, and thanks everyone on the Restream team and obviously on the tournament organization. It's very appreciated to be back, in the competition again.
Yeah, of course, and thanks for putting on a show for us. We really appreciate it, and I look forward to watching your next match. And good luck in your next one.
Thanks.
Take care. Huh? You know what? Alchemy sounds real nice, actually.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
So that's it, folks. Thanks a lot for watching. Do not worry if you are still hungry for more free enterprise action.
Oh,
We still
more.
have more. There are more races tonight. We have a Peasants OMFG. Oh, goodness, acronyms. Versus Youngest Kang at 9 p.m. on Free Enterprise.
Yep, we've got Tall Grant versus the Blue Wizard also at 9:30. These are both in Eastern, by the way, on Free Enterprise 2. So you don't want to miss the action tonight. But in the meanwhile, we're going to go say hi to Funnel Cakes. Funnel Cakes is running a Blue Moon async. I'm unfortunately not sure which async that is, but if you're interested in running a Blue Moon async, you haven't run them, now is your time to dip out. But otherwise, go on over there, bring the energy that you've all had here, say hi, and of course, no spoilers. Don't be silly. But yeah, that's it for us. It was a pleasure, Alchemy.
Indeed, same here. See you later, everyone. More Free Enterprise to come.
Bye.